and welcome to Rombi Uncensored. It's a Sunday evening spiritual day. I hope you guys had a great one because I did. Today I actually learned quite a lot. I learned about the love. I learned about faith. But God is good. Here we are. Come over, guys. Let's have a chat. It's a beautiful day and a lot is happening on our streets. So we need to really talk about this. Very important. New standard, actually, that's standard, right? Yes. Reported that fresh polls are definitely coming. They are coming. Hello, Nessa. Good to see you. Nessa, you're here. Okay, because the blue colors are for our new movement. So please drop your blue colors if you are following us on Chamisa, okay? Because people have started the campaign. I'm so excited. All right, so if it's your first time to come across this channel, please do yourself a favor and subscribe and make sure that you ring the bell because the bell is so important. Okay. And to my regulars, let me tell you, they're already flooding here and I can't mention names because I love all of them. I don't want to be that mama that I choose a child. Everybody is important. I want you guys to know that you're special. So the blue train is on the horizon. Woo! A lot is really happening. I'm telling you facts. You will see when we get along. We're going to be talking about, the campaign that started with, the new baby for Nelson Chamisa in the bodies, but we don't know the name yet. And we're also going to be talking about Job Scala as well. He's also in full swing. He was in Bulawayo today doing, he says you call it Thanksgiving, but I thought he was just busy with Washman and other guys and, having conversations. Again, campaigning on full swing. ZANU-PF is dishing out cars is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So thank you guys for coming through. Now, let's see what's going on Twitter trends. Who's trending the most right now? Who is trending? Okay, that's cool. All right, is everybody okay? Are you guys all right? Please don't forget to like the live, please, so we can push algorithm. I'm not a soccer person. I love soccer, but not that much. You know what I mean? Not that much. Maybe I would come here and say, oh, soccer what? But I'm really grateful. I'm really thankful for South Africa that won yesterday. And then, qualified for the semi-finals against Nigeria. Such an incredible, game. I'm definitely going to watch that one because I'm going to be supporting Bafana, of course. South Africa raised me. So I'm going to make sure that I support Bafana. Okay, so here we are. Zimbabweans are trending. Okay, what's up? Why? Because they're saying the goalkeeper for Bafana is actually Zimbabwean. No, we'll look into that a little bit later. But most importantly, it's all political. What's going on now on Twitter? It's political. Zimbabweans are reminding each other, and say, what's up? What's going on? Yeah. Ne? But condolences to the president of Namibia. He went to heaven. So, Ali tweeted, he said his brief treatment abroad was not paid for by taxpayers. He was mostly treated at home and died at home. Dear Zimbabweans, your money is being used to buy cars for ZANU-PF mascots. Direct your anger there, not Namibia. I don't know why people are attacking Namibians. What did they do now? You see, we are such an angry community that every time, we're fighting the wrong people than to look squarely into our oppressors and say, what's up? What's up, guys? Stop oppressing us. Stop oppressing us. And there's also another guy who was literally kind of intimidating one of our brother who is a manager at a restaurant. Quite embarrassing right there. Embarrassing, but this is why we want to fix the country because we want all our people to come back home, and build the nation. We will fix this country. 2024, I'll put my life on. We will not cross until this country is sorted. We are not going to cross 2024 into 2025 without sorting out Zimbabwe. All of us, we must come together and make sure that we fix Zimbabwe for everyone. For everyone. If you just join us, we thank you for coming through. We really do thank you. And don't forget to like the live. Like the live. There's more than 200 people here. Do yourself a favor and just be a sister's keeper. Be a sister's keeper. Okay. I don't want to waste time. I just want you to listen to Nelson Chamisa. Change is coming. Change is coming. Okay. Change in Zimbabwe will be ushered in by very few committed and courageous individuals. What the rest of you can do is to pray that those few individuals have a national agenda. So change is coming very soon. It's coming sooner than you think. But let's take a listen to Nelson Chamisa. He's addressing the issue of the new coming baby. Let's take a listen to him so that at least we can start somewhere. I'm so sorry, this is in Shona, so please bear with me.
Chiripo ndechekuti mukaona ukatenda hapana kuraswa hapana kurasika. Chiripo ndechekuti mukaona ukachinja magia.
Thank you.
Inoimbwa kuya ku South Africa. Tachinja magia azvirevi kuti tadzokera kumashure taakungoenda pane chimwe chiyero. Asi regai nditi zvidzidzo zvikuru zvandawana ndezvokuti kazhinji kana muri mumatongerwo enyika tsirai peukama. Hapafani kuva neruvengo, hapana kuva nekuvavana, tofana kuva vanhu vanowadzana, vanodanana, vanofarirana, vanonzwirana mwoyo, vanopanana mazana. Chechipiri kuziva kuti tifambe tikange tina Mwari wedu. Kana uchida Mwari unoda vanhu vaMwari. Haugoni kutungamira vanhu vaMwari usingazive Mwari wacho. Saka kutsvaka ukama kana kutungamirira naJehovha chinhu chakanaka. Tinonzwa vamwe vanosvikochema vachirwadziwa sei achikotipa mavhesi chombo chinodarika kana magrenade. Nekuti mavhesi ndo anovaka. Munhu akavakwa nevhesi. Pakutanga rakanga riri shoko. Munhu ishoko. Saka shoko rakakosha kuti risumudze nekuvandudza munhu. Vasingazivi vachadzidzawo nokuti Mwari vanoda kuti tiyanane navo tizive kuti nyika ndeyaMwari, upenyu ndewaMwari. Saka tofana kugadzirisa ipapo vanhu vazive. Vamwe vati makaita mademonstrations aiwa munourayisa vanhu. Anofandisi ndinourayisa vanhu ndinotungamira. Kutungamira akanaka mufudzi wehwai akanaka. Anorwarirwa mwoyo, anorwadziwa mwoyo nehwai dzese dzaanofudza. Kutungamira anofana kuva nekuverenga hwai dzake kuti dziyambuke dzose. Kwete kuti ndoda kutarisa kuti ndaurayisa ingani kuti ndigoonekwa kuti ndine mangoromera ezvibhakera. Zvezvibhakera zvakapera. Chaakudikwa kwaane zvibhakera zvepfungwa, zvibhakera zvemazano. Ndo zvatinoda kuti zvinge zviri munyika. Tichidanana sevanhu pamwe chete. Zvanza zvinogezana. Hakuna anofana kuti asiyiwe. Tiri gumbo rimwe chete. Zvine mukumbira. Kwete kuitirana nharo kuti ana anofana kuita chitsitsino, ana anofana kuita ibvi. Umwe nomwe ari paari pamwe. Gumbo rinotofamba. Nemakumbo agoni kufamba pamwe chete, kamwe chete. Rimwe rinotoenda pamberi, rimwe rotsikawo. Patsika remberi, potsika reshure. Kuronga kwaMwari. Ndozvimwe zvidzidzo zvinoda kuti zviitwe munyika yedu. Tisavengane nematongerwo enyika. Hapana mupfupi, hapana murefu, hapana mubvandiripo. Tiri vana vamunhu mumwe chete, vana vanyamu. Kudanana ndokwavakana.
Tichasvika here kuKenani? Vanhu vari kubvunza tichasvika rini kuKenani?
Kenani iri pedyo. Asi kuti kana usina mhino dzeKenani haunzwi munhu wayo. Kana usina maziso eKenani unogona kutorwa zvokuti unonge usingachazivi kuti wapedyo. Kenani iri padyo. Vanhu ngavatarise chete kune ari kumberi anotungamirira foros ndiyo inotariswa kana munhu isingadi kubhiridha. Kana pari pamuchato munotarisa anotungamirira masteps ndiye anoita kuti zvinhu zvifambe zvakanaka. Saka haiwa rwendo rwedu rwakanaka zvikuru. Vanhu ngavafare. Tiri pedyo. 2023 ndo pakapera basa anokugadzira nyika. Wongo anotaka ma-elections anofamba zvakana. Asi munyika inogadzirwa nyika, munyika inogadzirwa ramangwana renyika takapedza. Kurava kuti changosara manifestation kuti nyika yedu igadzirwe. Muchaona zvichaitika pari zvino nekwatiri kuenda Zimbabwe yakutononaka.
Hanzi muchatiudza rini gwara chairo ramuchatora nevanhu?
Aiwa, gwara takatotaura. Vanhu vari kuziva. Chasara ndechekuti tisangana nevanhu munharaunda dzakasiyana, tichinzwanana, tichigovana, tiite gumano repfungwa, tiite gumano remashoko nekuverengedzana. Munoziva kuti turi kadenga mubatsirana. Saka totoda kunzwawo zvanza zvigezana, tobatsirana pamwe chete kuti tofamba sei senyika. Saka hai tiri kuenda munharaunda, tiri kuudza vanhu, asi mufaro uri munyika umu tiri kuona vanhu vari kuziva zvinofana kuitwa uye kuti nyika inofana kufamba sei. Ndinoda kutenda ndanichiona paZANU-PF materials nhasi vachiti makorokoto aChamisa. I was so surprised, but that's how we should be. Of course zvine politics mukati, but that's how we should be. Ndinokorokotedzawo mnangagwa, korokotedza pane zviitiko zvenyika. Upenyu chipo chaMwari, and we must not abuse upenyu. Hatifani kuda kutorerana upenyu kana kuomeserana muupenyu. Munotarisa marana, kusungana, kurovana, kutukana, zvinoitwa nemakudo. Kasi makudo hatorwi, tsoko hadzitorwi. isu vanhu tichitorwa tinofanira kunge tiri kumberi tichiziva kuti tiri vanhu vananyamuka.
Final President, I just want to check if you are comfortable.
All right, you heard Nelson Chamisa. It's very clear that people know where we are going, but it's just that we need to start the campaign. But the campaign is kicked off. They started in Manicaland today. We've seen videos and pictures that are circulating on social media. And Australia started building from the rubble. We have landed in Manicaland province as we set the tone and direction towards the new. The elections are coming. That's fresh polls are coming. You can see what's happening right now. They're coming. People are asking questions. Why Wiwa is out immediately after Nelson Chamisa resigned? What's happening? And why is ZANU-PF dishing out cars? We are getting more into that. Why? And they had a bigger, placard written, "Behold the new," in blue. So colors have changed. So we're just waiting for a signal. As soon as we know we are about to change colors as well, you'll be seeing me in my blue color. Every time I talk about politics, because I have a political party that I support, that will be behind Nelson Chamisa. I'm sorry. He's the man that I believe in at the moment. The best foot forward for Zimbabweans is what we have right now is Nelson Chamisa. So are we coming in blue? As soon as everything is confirmed, we're just waiting. But we can see now all these campaigns. And also HSTV reported former Triple C leader Nelson Chamisa has signaled his next political move by dispatching his foot soldiers to rallies in Manicaland. Then he had an interview with Standard. Standard is also part of HSTV, which is the daily news. Is it daily news? No. Newsday. So I'm going to read an article they sent out today because this was literally an interview, but they don't have the interview on video. They actually have it in print. So let's just take a listen to this. I'm going to read out the conversation between the journalist and Nelson Chamisa. So because that article went out today, fresh polls before 2028, says Nelson Chamisa. So despite ditching opposition Citizen Coalition for Change, Triple C party as the leader, Nelson Chamisa says he is determined to push the country to hold fresh elections to correct the August 23rd and 24th general elections, which he described as a gigantic fraud. Chamisa told our senior reporter Miriam Maguire in an exclusive interview that elections will be held under a new political movement, which he described as a new door that has never been used. Below are exceptions from the interview. So Miriam asked a question. Your decision to step down from Citizen Coalition for Change has been received with mixed reactions among Zimbabweans, particularly your supporters who seem not to understand your future plans in the political arena. What is your plan? And Nelson Chamisa responded, Zimbabweans must not worry or panic. This is our quickest answer to our challenges. This is our quickest way and route to our problems. The human body is designed in such a way that it follows the signal from the head. The head defines the trajectory and movement. So they know the signal. They're absolutely connected. The grassroots, the base is energized and excited. That I can tell you. They're aware that we are headed somewhere. They know that we don't misstep or side work. They know we walk straight. We are not stepping aside. We are stepping ahead. The issue now is not about political parties, but it is about bringing Zimbabwe together. We need to move. We need a movement. So we need one movement from Zimbabwe across the political parties. There are good people in ZANU-PF in other different political parties, and those must be galvanized into making this country a peace haven. And the next question is, so you think your critics will be ready to work with you under the new movement? And Nelson Chamisa responded, I mean, no harm even to those who oppose me. What I want to see a prosperous country. We actually want to help them by helping the country. Because when the country and prosperity flourishes, it's not partisan. We actually want to help them. I have the answer to our problems. Try me. Even those who do not agree with us, they must try me. It's a beautiful answer to all challenges. It's a new way of doing things. What has not been seen or done before. It's a new dawn. a door that has never been used. I'm ready to lead Zimbabwe and not a party. Zimbabwe needs a leader, a unifying leader, not a party leader. Since 1980, the office of presidency of this country has been occupied by a party leader instead of a national leader. Then he asked the question, said, it is alleged you left the citizen coalitions before you had handed over party assets and funds. Was there any takeover before you exited Triple C? But his opponent said they can't say I should hand over. They took over everything and they asked me to hand over what they have already taken over. You take over everything and give it to your own person. Then you ask me to hand over. What do I hand over? They have already taken over. They even want to take my poor first. What I can't hand over is my heart and my conscience. My heart is for Zimbabwe and it's not for sale. I will never betray the mandate of the people. I would rather be a church mouse than betray the people of Zimbabwe. They took MGs and they gave it to Thokozani Kupe, and we formed MGC Alliance, which they gave to Monzora, and I left it for Triple C. Now they came with Sengezo Shavangu. They recalled the councillor MPs and all resources they gave to the enemy and blamed me for the poor service delivery. And the memory asked the question, you posted on your X handle recently claiming that your life is under threat. What do you think is after your life? He responded, I've never been threatened before. No, I've been threatened before in Mutare during the campaigns. And then the latest threats by some PF spokesperson, Christopher Muchangwa. He addressed a whole press conference. If you look at it, you have government spokesperson and ZANU-PF spokesperson being more of spokespersons of what they call their people Triple C. How do they care about the affairs of Triple C more than care about the suffering of the people of Zimbabwe? Not talk about cholera, not talk about vote. They simply talk about me. This Nelson Chamisa. And we have the highest levels of vulnerability of investment and businesses and the highest volatility of a business environment in the world. Any serious person who cares about people will give answers to these, but they chose to be spokesperson of the Citizen Coalition for Change. Miriam asked, you disputed August 23rd, 24th. You disputed August 23rd and 24th elections results and have been pushing for a fresh poll. Do you still hope that Zimbabwe is going to hold elections before 2028? Nelson Chamisa responded, said 2028 is too far. People have agent issues that need to be resolved. I agree on that. We don't have the luxury of waiting until 2028. We know that we have 2023 that has not been fixed and resolved. If you look at it, which is near 2023 or which one is near 2023 or 2028. 2023 is not a closed chapter. It's not a done deal. I have a mandate not from the party that I am or that I'm with or in Triple C is not an issue. I'm a product of the people of Zimbabwe. Over 2 million people, and it is like half of the country, even in a disputed election. So I'm the leader of those voices. That is why we petitioned SADC and we speak. SADC is seized with that matter because we wrote to them to say we have here an issue. So Miriam responded, you have been criticizing for your God, isn't it, Mandra? Do you still insist that under the new movement that you lead? And then Nelson Chamisa responded, our fight is not just a political one, it is also spiritual. Zimbabwe needs to be born again, and our God will show up for us. Our God will fight for us. People may not understand, but our God is never delaying or denying. He is always on time. He's going to give us good news. The answer that will ultimately come in a God-inspired and ordained answer. They may deny it, but that is the truth. Zimbabwe will be a happy nation, a hospitality nation, a healing nation, and a giving nation, not a begging nation. And it's very soon, sooner than what people think. I agree on that. Change is coming very soon. One of my followers has been my client before. He follows Zimbabwean politics very closely, and today said to me, I want to ask you a question. You guys leave Zimbabwe to go around the world to go and beg. Which one is better, to fight for your country or to go around the world and beg? My heart bleeded. I took time before I even responded to him because he said, but I told you, You guys, why are you leaving? You must fight for your freedom. Stay in your country. Make sure you fix stuff. And I was like, oh God, I know. I'm going to tell you, you and I, we need to fix this country. It's our home. Zimbabwe is ours. So let's work together and make sure that is done. Brotherhood is what we're going to be looking at now. Now, Dr. Walter Muzembe, he said the caters visited by Nelson Chamisa on Job Scala was an act of brotherhood. These two come a long way together and their destinies are tied. Their game should be played above social media moral policing. Even in the deepest of imagined adversity, we should always preserve that which binds us, and that is we are all Zimbabweans, and therefore we are family. Families are the basic building blocks, the basic structure of our politics, our Zimbabweans. So where others are saying brick upon brick, which is also fine, I add family upon family. Wukama haugezwe, we are one and we are family. Now, you have seen Sikala campaigning today. Let me say this because I want to play this video so you guys can listen to what was happening then. You hear people who say, we were. You wait to Bulawayo. So he said that he started wanting to thank people who stood by him. But funny enough, there were utterances that he dropped, said that people did not help me at all, you know. And later on, he came back and said, no, I want to thank people. And I was like, no, I understand. Maybe it's that, you know, that feeling, you're out of prison, you're excited, you know, and you start saying things that don't make no sense. But then you realize, you need to correct yourself. Do you remember when they came out and said, no, they're going to block him from having interviews because it began to utter things that were off, which includes even his accent as well. It did not change. He was talking like Nelson Mandela out of prison after 35 years in prison. That's how Scala was sounding. He was in Bulawayo today. He went to a prophet, quote unquote, a prophet church. Again, you know, that's some PF's way of campaigning. They go to prophets. You see them buying cars for prophets in the church through weakness. You saw a lot of Toyota Corollas, you know, parked, and they will belong to apostolic church leaders. Now, Scala went to the church today, and with the prophet as well. He says that this prophet prophesying about him being out of prison. I want you to take a listen to him speaking at that church in Bulawayo. I cannot believe that. I can't believe, but let's start by the one that people were busy cheering up in Bulawayo. Take a listen, please. All right. I think this was staged. I'll tell you why. Do you remember that the very same day that he came out of prison, Noah is alleging that they actually just kicked him out. Do you remember that? He said that they dropped him outside of the place and without even notifying anyone, and they immediately phoned his attorneys. Now, what was fascinating is that the following day, he now said that again that guy called Freddie had actually organized people, no, Obed, you know, that Obed guy, the teacher, he had actually organized people to welcome him in Chitungwiza. Now I'm asking questions. If you were just kicked out, like really kicked out in a way that was a bit brutal, where did you get the time to arrange with those that could come and welcome you? Okay. Now you went to Bulawayo, he's claiming that he's going there to thank people, and he started going to a church This church is a prophet church where he was speaking. I want to take a listen to what he said before I even pass my comments there, which does not make really no sense. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Take a listen.
And asked me to go back home on the 30th of January 2024. Unexpected from me. The word that has been prophesied by the true prophet of God, Prophet Dr. Chamisa. These two prophets that Zimbabwe must pray for me. On the month of January, because God has something miraculous to do, come to pass. There is no any word. The whole world is lost hope in that I was going to come out. But when the Spirit speaks out through these two prophets, it came to pass on the 30th of January. On the right age of the month of January, I came out of prison and I said to myself, the first church that I want to go into, and for that prophet called Chamisa, I will go to the Lawayo, I will ask you from the street where that Chamisa is, and I will go to this church and see the true prophet in Lawayo. So I thank all of you for the prayers that you have done. I heard some of you went on endless fasting that I must come out of prison. Uneffective years.
All right, so he's in the church, he's thanking the church. You can hear people and all excited. Everything is stirred. The church, I understand, is a prophet that is claiming that this prophet prophesied that he was going to come out of prison in January, if I get him correctly. And I understand, of course, the church, if you were going to church, the church knew that we was going to come through. But then, remember, the people went to visit him. But there's one person that didn't turn up, was Mnangagwa. So in Bulawa is where Mnangagwa stays. So I'm sure you went to Bulawa so that they could meet. And also, on this new part, Triple C under Triple C right now, people have been asking questions. Who is actually the president of the party? Now that Chamisa resigned. Remember, there's Mnangagwa, who's claimed to be the vice president. There's also Tendebit, who's also a vice president of the party. So people have been asking who is supposed to be the president of the party. I'm suspecting maybe it's him who is going to be the president of the party. Remember, he came out of prison. You know, they assume that he may pull the numbers for them because people sympathizing that he has been in prison for 2 years, which I'm grateful and really have seen how much I was so hurt by him being in prison, knowing that he was innocent. But now we're talking about politics here. You can see how he's busy all over the place. We were. But I think those people who are claiming we were, seems to be people that are staged, because you can hear the noise that is it's the same people. We were. And we can hear that. And it happened again when they were in Chitungwisa, when people were saying, Chisa Mama Chisa. I was like, oh, okay, no, Chisa. And he was also coming and said, Zimbabwe. You also hear Chamisa talking about Zimbabwe. These interesting days ahead, honestly. Very interesting days ahead. We're just watching and we're following all these stories to see what's really happening. But I think, again, like I said, he came out of prison like the way Mandela was, because Mandela came out and he began to unify people, and he feels like he's got the mandate. You hate him at the church. Remember, prophets have attendance. I don't know if it's false or not. That's not my business. You know, prophets have attendance of telling people, you know, the future. You know what I mean? Maybe the prophet said you are going to be the leader of the country. You know, so he's campaigning. He's on a campaign trail. And some people have started intimidating people. You know, very interesting. Moving on, you know, started intimidating people. I hope watching on send out a message today that dear evidence, Mugwadi and Kanka Usaru, you know, please stop harassing my workers and contractors who have worked for me before, asking them for my South African address. Stop offering them money to infiltrate my circle and offering them tickets to South Africa. I'll be making a report to the South African police and who'll be handing over all the recordings that were made. He also put down the number they saw. He's being intimidated by some PF supporters. When is this nonsense going to end? Like, I don't understand, why do we always want to intimidate each other? Is it necessary, honestly? No. There's no reason why we should intimidate each other. There's no reason. We are one people. Let's understand, politics will come and go. Politicians will come and go. Look, the president of Namibia went to heaven. Politicians will die. But what's more important is us being one people. Now, this video is circulating on YouTube, Twitter, all over the place. But I thought it was an important video for us to listen to. And we can begin to actually analyze what this guy is saying. Because some people are saying what he's saying is telling the truth. But I don't buy it. Because it's like every Zimbabwean is a CIO. In 2024, everyone is just claiming to be a CIO. And he's talking about, are we being played by opposition parties? Because you have heard, like this past week, that, people like Tendai Bita working with the regime. You also heard allegations that he promises a CIO. So many things are just happening. So he is literally commenting on that. Are we being played? Why all these allegations around most guys who are in the Citizen Coalition for Change? If you can see how Tendai Biti, Washme, together Sengezo donated almost seats to ZANU-PF. You've seen them today. They are celebrating. They've got 2/3 majority. We'll look into that story next. But I want you to take a listen to Brett Movete. What he's been saying today. We need to analyze that video, because when videos are circulating and words are powerful and they are spreading maybe lies to the people, we need to speak back so at least we can counter whatever that people are trying to say. I don't know what he's saying, if it's true, but when I listen to him, I'm sure that people are just frustrated with what's going on today. But let's listen to him, please.
Saka, that former spokesperson, former deputies, BG, Welshman, a couple of other people. If one will say, Vatengis, they are now Vatengis Astrako. At what point are we going to ask ourselves, why is the president always appointing my CIO? Why? Long ago, we had a party that had structures, he had to vote and all those kind of things, so we can understand if you say, no, look, the president doesn't appoint, the people appoint via Congress. So the people appointed CIO agents because they voted for them. But this party did not have any of those abilities. The president appointed everyone. Saka, president, aka appointa ma CIO asingazivi. If that's the case, then surely the president was not fit to be president, because they are continually appointing CIOs. Or is the president a CIO himself, and he is just simply appointing his fellow work colleagues to control the opposition? You see, in Zimbabwe, basa opposition ndere kunyaradza vanhu. Ndo basa opposition. Opposition ndere kunyaradza vanhu. Kana uri mu opposition ukataura nezve revolution sezvandinoita inini, unodzingwa, you are suspended or you are expelled. And it those zvinoitika. Try it. Enda ku leadership yako kwauri ikoko mu opposition. Enda unoti no politics takusiyana nazvo. Takuda kuisa vanhu mu road, takuda kubvisa regime by force. Enda unotaura izvozvo. Mu structure mako ku head office kwe party yako, enda unotaura izvozvo. If you are still a party member after 1 month, so what happens is the regime plans election, one election in advance. So what's going to happen now is when they have a political event or a political change, someone will come or an event will happen. When that event or that person comes, it gives hope to people. So people will say, let's rather wait the 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, and that election, the one that's coming, that one, 2028, 2028. 2028, yogosvika, mogomamiswa election, mogonzi sadaki, mogoti tarigwa, mogoendesa kukoti, mogodai, 2 years dzopera, 1 year, 1 month, 1 year, 6 months dzopera, muchingo manyisana mapepa, what. After that, an event happens, munhu wochinja, kana kuti zvinhu zvochinja, you change a party, you change my colors, you change zvimwe zvinhu. All of a sudden, people are like, 3 more years until election, tomira election. Ndo zviri kuitika muZimbabwe izvozvo. Muri kuvhariswa time. Izvi zviri kuitika izvi zvese izvi zvakaplanwa kudhara izvi. Mese makangomirira politics, hakuna chinhu chinonzi politics chinobvisa regime muZimbabwe. I don't know if you guys are understanding that. You are wasting your time following politics in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe inoda revolution yevanhu. Chete, hakuna chimwe chinhu. Opposition is a ZANU-PF project. Vakakombedzwa nema-CIO vanhu ivavo. Youth yese, it's a CIO project. Kana pa executive ya youth, kana vari 20 or 30, ameno kana varipo, handifunga kuti panoshaika, I think pane 2 or 3 genuine people paya. Vamwe vese vatengesi. How do you explain continually appointing CIOs and not questioning if you are a CIO yourself? How do you continue kutaura zvinhu zvakadaro, kuita zvinhu zvakadaro, and expect people to still believe politically? It's because vanhu, the population in Zimbabwe, takapusa. And it's easier to wait for the next election. It's easier to suffer in silence like a coward. It's easier kugara kumba wakanyarara kuti zine kuti hauna jende. It's easier to do that.
All right, so I'm gonna move this a bit because I don't like swearing. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Zimbabwe muchamuka rimwe zuva zvenyu kuona kuti zvese zviri kuitika izvi idrama zvandiri kutaura izvi, zvandagara ndichitaura izvi. The regime makes opposition leaders. Anosungwa, wombosiwa, wombonorohwa, wodzoswa, wombodai. And then you think that's a hero. Let me ask you something. Uri iwewe, kana tindiri inini handiti, ndobatwa neregime, ndomamiswa, ndorohwa.
All right, I don't know the way.
Imba yangu yogopiswa. Maybe vamwe vemhuri mangu vogomamiswa. Ndogoendeswa kujeri for 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, whatever the time is.
I think we are just an angry community because the choice of words are really, some of them are ugly. So you must bear with me, please. The choice of words, people are just so angry. I get that.
On a case yandisina kuita. Ndogoregererwa, ndogosiwa zvonzi chibuda. Ndogara muZimbabwe, ndakanyarara zvangu. Ndamamiswa, ndarohwa, ndabvutirwa zvinhu zvangu zvese. Ndodzokera kumba ndogara pasofa ndonyarara. Life carries on. Uri murume akaita sei anoita zvinhu zvakadaro? Ndiri inini ndaitotiza muZimbabwe ikoko ndoenda kuexile. Ndakutotanga hondo. Ngandisunge mahara. Uchindivharisa, uchindirovesa. Uchibvutira zvinhu zvangu zvese, business rangu collapsed, family yangu collapsed, mudzimai wangu akuhura, murume kana uri mukadzi murume wako akuhura nekuti wagara uri mujeri, vana vako havachakuzivi, and you accept zvinhu izvozvo as if zvangoitika. Hauna hasha. Zvinhu zvakasetwa zvinhu. Vanhu vari kubhadharwa to be in opposition. Vanhu vari kubhadharwa to be in opposition. Iwewe, you need to decide kuti uchateerera vatengesi here kana uchateerera kavoice kari kumusoro mako kari kutaura zvese zvandataura apapa. Uri kutozvibvunza zvandataura zvese izvi, uri kutozvibvunza wega uri kumba kwako. Pane pandanyepa? Kana pane pandanyepa, taurai tinzwe. Moita zuva rakanaka. varanda vezimbabwe mamukasezve.
Okay, so
Saka therefore,
yeah. Okay, I'm sorry about the choice of words, but we are on our way to freedom. Whether people saw the struggle or they don't saw the struggle, that's not the issue. The bottom line is we are on our way to freedom. And we must keep our focus, because these kind of videos circulate. But we also know that there's a lot of games that happens just trying to discredit people and say elections don't work. But we know elections don't work. But we should ask ourselves why people are so investing in now want to start campaigning so early. Because they know that that flood of an election is calling out a fresh election. If you can see right now, we were discussing about how ZANU-PF is dishing out cars to celebrities. Do you remember that immediately after elections, there were 2 cars that were dished out? It was to Holitain and Kiki Bed Us. But all of a sudden now, cars are being dished out. Why? Because everyone is preparing for the fresh poll. Everyone is preparing for the fresh. They know. There's someone who sent me a message, was like, no, they know that there's a new election that is coming. So they are busy preparing for the fresh election. How many people have been given cars? We have Japres was given a car. Sandra Ndebele was given a car. Fandan was given a car. And Sulumani Chimbere as well. I think the list goes on and on. And we have seen now there's an issue of two-thirds majority that people are saying, now you have the two-thirds majority. After all this sham of Sengezo Shavangu, where to from here? And interesting enough, I saw a message sent out by Operation Restore Ligas. This is falling under ZANU-PF. And you know, every time when they want to introduce something, they will send it as a conjecture. And then you think, oh my God, it's just simply a conjecture. It's not, nothing happens. But they send out a message, they say, dear ZANU-PF, not Zimbabweans, ZANU-PF. This is the level of disrespect. Since we have majority in parliament, why can't we amend constitution for the betterment of our country? Number one, to hold elections after 10 or 15 years to allow development to take place without disturbances. Number two, that no more by-elections. If the party recalled or the sitting candidate pass away, the party will just choose from their members and replace without by-elections. Number three, no term limit for the president. Remove 2 term limits. And like I said, they will send a message like it's simply conjecture. But the truth is, they're actually communicating. Do you remember when we saw, during the time of that sham of an election, we saw a paper circulating during the day with results, and we were like laughing literally and said, this is simply nothing. We were shocked. The very same paper is what Chigumba used to announce elections. The same numbers that were there, that were circulating during the day. This to show that there is something brewing. They're trying so hard. There is a war between the citizens who want fresh poll, the people who want fresh poll, who are approaching SADC. We heard Chamisa saying the same thing, with them trying so hard to legitimize the entire process. But it's not working. It's not giving. Life is not lifing. Life isn't lifing. They're trying so hard, but it's not lifing. Now I've told you that Zimbabweans are extremely angry. Extremely angry. Because you know what happened today on Twitter? Immediately after, the announcement of the death of the president of Namibia, President Emerson Mnangagwa sent that time a message. My heartfelt condolences to the family of President Genkob of Namibia. And people began to respond. I'm going to read some of these, feedbacks. Shepard Majgira said, waiting for you, Mnangagwa. Now, toda utevere, manje haupedze 2 years iwe. And then Dindiwe Williams said, put your house in order, you are next. Caroline Simon said, as Zimbabweans, we are suffering. Mwenda ori niti zorore. And Shepard Majgira said, wait for you, Mnangagwa, toda utevere manje, right? Noah said, why chage kuzimu muna August last year? And they're literally talking, I don't know who they're referring to. I told you that Zimbabweans are angry. We are an angry community. And let me say, there's nothing wrong with that. I understand. That's what trauma does. Until we heal, I've always said there's going to be a lot of work immediately after we cross over from this mess. Really, we need to have healing in the country. Because people are very upset that at the end of the day, we'll cross over. The new elections, are coming. It's what we are pursuing, all of us across the board. We want to see a new election. Quite very interesting. Now moving on to family life. We have my brother whom I respect, Temba Gorimbo. Shout out to him. And congratulations, he won. He won the fight. And really, he says something that touched my heart today, and I want to share with you. And I'm like, I wish politicians can listen, especially ZANU-PF politicians, can listen to the desires of Zimbabweans. Please take a listen.
You mentioned, that you fought the way you did in the first one because you were hungry and you needed it. Is there any fear that if you become so successful, something like maybe a Conor McGregor, and you make a lot of money, that hunger is going to be gone?
I'm from Zimbabwe. When I'm full, my country is not full. So I'm probably going to be doing some things in my country to stay hungry. Like now, I am going to Zimbabwe to build a library in my village, powered with solar power, so that the villages in my village can have the opportunity to study at night. Because, growing up, I passed my high school, but growing up, I could have done better if I could go back home and study after school, because you walk 10 to school, 10 kilometers to school, 10 kilometers back. By the time you get back home, you finish school at 4, by the time you get back home, it's dark. You don't have time to study. And the other kids are studying, and they're doing better. So I was thinking about this when I was running a few weeks ago. I was like, I can actually do that. Go there, build a big building, put solar power, and then the kids can go at night and study there. So the hunger, I don't know, man. I've got a lot of things to fulfill first before I get hungry. I get full.
Does having some...
I'm so desperate. I'm desperate for a day that we are all going to realize that it's really not about collecting, but it's more about impact. How can we be of a blessing to everyone? And I urge you, if God has blessed you, go back to your rural homes. It's for the rural. Forget about the town thing where there's a lot of manipulation. Do the rural. Build libraries. Put books there. Let the youngs read. You leave a strong legacy. Because as we stand right now, these politicians have completely failed. It's a mess. The entire country is a mess. But like I said to you, haters are always going to be haters. Jonathan Moyo, just in. The hater has started. Remember, Citizen Coalition for Change was minding their business, on their campaign trail. Now, lies have started. Jonathan Moyo, it seems like, I don't know, he just works to destroy Nelson Chamisa. This man, he's a vile man, hate people. He's so hurt by the fact that he's in exile. He's not even in Zim. Instead of working with everyone else so that we can have a strong opposition to bring back the sanity in our country, so you can come back home, Mr. Jonathan Moyo. But now he started again attacking Ostalos. You have left your triple C that you said you wanted. You have always wanted triple C, and they left it. Now you're after those kids again in Manicaland. Now listen to what he said. He said, go and tell Chamisa that Manicaland says no. Ostalos and Chibaya told. Also, listen, Shibaya Siziva and Amos Shibaya and a torrid time this afternoon in Manicaland when they were told off by a charged crowd in their ill-fated push for Nelson Chamisa's latest solo campaign to form yet another structureless movement after he dished and ran away from his Triple C in January. In the ill-tempered meeting, Ostalos and Shibaya were told in no uncertain terms that it's them who caused the divisions in the province and that the contamination, infiltration of Triple C that Chamisa complained about when he abruptly quit his Triple C without notice last month is in fact at the top and not among the grassroots, and that they touted yet another new movement Chamisa wants to hurriedly form with no structures and no positions who have the same contaminated top that has left Triple C with Chamisa. Can you hear? This is simply Jonathan Moyo and his hatred. I can't believe he fought Nelson Chamisa until he let go of Citizen Coalition for Change. Now he has left Citizen Coalition for Change. Now he's going after the new baby that never even, it hasn't started yet. These are simply speculations of people in blue. They can't sleep again. They are going after that blue. Now I told you, elections are coming. They are working tirelessly just to destroy, because they know the rival in the country is Nelson Chamisa. People are afraid of him. They know because he's the leader. Destiny is fighting him. The enemy devil from Lucifer, from hell, is fighting Nelson Chamisa because he knows that the moment we cross out of this, it's over for him. The devil knows it is over because we, as a Zimbabwean people, will fight for our sanity and will fight for our future and will fight for the success that we know we deserve. Jonathan Moore is sick. But let's take a listen at the voice note that he actually tagged, that these are people who are upset. I've told you everything is about destroying the new movement that hasn't even started. Take a listen.
Don't abuse that power. Kune isusu tichakuvhotera. Nekuti izvezvi Manicaland kuti ite zvairi. Ndimi vana Chibaya, vana Farai, vana Basaka, vana Mutera. Ndimi kuita kuti tisawirirane. Mobva mati nyongonosa. Moto rakagurupa apa mokagadzira kuti akandokana. Izvozvo ndozvatisingayi. Kana takupinda mu-new movement, tiri kuda zvinhu zviri straightforward. Togoshanda pamwe chete zvekuti handi triple C ine makembi mairi. Isusu hatizvide ende hatisi kuzvida muManicaland no. Go and tell that president Chamisa Manicaland yati no. Last time pana munhu akada kutaura pano paina president. President wakati usamurowe but mukomana yakarohwa. Achida kutaura chokwadi. Enough is enough Manicaland muno. Vari kupuruzwa vika enough is enough. We are bigger Manicaland.
All right. So honestly, I personally can concur and respect the lady for what she said. And I think the problem that we have is emotional intelligence. Okay, emotional intelligence is the greatest tool that anyone should have. This woman is right. And do you blame her? Because people work tirelessly for citizen coalition for change. I can concur with what Hopo Shimono said today on Twitter. He was very upset. You know, he was also very upset that you can't tell me that you guys can donate to ZANU-PF, even though you were angry, and forget the pain and how much we moved from pillar to post, encouraging people to register to vote. And we've seen how people worked tirelessly, and we had the nerve to donate those seats to ZANU-PF. And I'm sitting here when I'm hearing this woman speaking, I understand and I respect her. And you know what? From an emotional intelligence point of view, yes, she's right. These people worked so hard, believed in the movement. What did Tendai Biti Washmengwe and their cabal did? Ruined the journey that we were on. Imagine if we could have just went to this fresh poll with the Citizen Coalition for Change as we were. Even the work was not going to be as much as what we're going to do now. But however, we must never give up. Because we know that people love Nelson Chamisa. So I respect them because they don't really have all the information. When they now get to hold of the information that the real culprits and the devils that brought us into this mess is actually Rana Tendai BT and Rana Washman and their group of people, they will understand. So for her to say the way that she did, I respected the lady. She's right. And I respect the fact that she's actually speaking out. They say, guys, if we can start this new movement, we don't want drama anymore, which means structures must be in place. The website must be in place. It's enough. Achenda politics, we want things to be structured. By the way, the youth and the young people understand who our real enemy is. So this infiltration nonsense, it will not work in this new movement that we're working. It will not work. We have had enough. Now we need to move forward. People are tired. So I don't even know why Jonathan Moore is making it a big deal, because the woman has the right to say it. Honestly, Zimbabweans are fed up. We need a way forward. And that way forward must be straightforward. It must be known. People want a way forward. And I completely respect him that this is where we are now. So honestly, Mama, I thank you for being open and speak your truth. It's time for us to build a movement that works for everybody. And that movement must be with the people, the right people. Prune all nonsense and leave them out of this. No, but we need to understand as much as we are one people, as much as we are a country and we work together, we must always remember that it is really imperative that we work with the right people. We have a heart to make Zimbabwe a better country again. They cannot destroy the entire parliament. And I love what Hopo Chingono said. He said, honestly, the world needs to know that parliament has become illegitimate. It's not an illegitimate parliament on its own. How on earth can you recall all the, the voted MPs, senators and councillors, and now begin to just plant the wrong people who were never loved? Tell me if a person got about 200 something votes, then during the elections, where on earth did they get 14,000 people voting for them? Where on earth? You can all see that it's not true. But because now they can do as they please. But people are angry that it is wrong. He said the whole world must know, that is what we're watching on, that the current Zimbabwean parliament is now illegitimate. Its composition is derived from a criminal act of recalling legitimately elected members of parliament from the opposition CCC party by a crook claiming to be the interim secretary general of the opposition CCC when he's not. His corrupt recalls were backed by an equally corrupted, disgraced and captured judiciary. We know that the weaknesses created by the opposition itself contributed to these criminal acts, but that is a story for another day. Based on the facts I've stated, the world must know that when it interacts with the current Zimbabwean parliament, it is engaged with an illegitimate parliament, which was put together partly through a rigged election and a criminal act of recalling members of parliament. It doesn't end there. The recalled members of parliament were then blocked by the corrupt judiciary from contesting the by-elections in order to facilitate the criminal entry into parliament by ZANU-PF surrogates, running on its ticket in a competition where the opposition candidates were blocked from participating. So the Zimbabwean parliament is a fraud. One will taint anyone who gives it legitimacy both home and abroad. The fact that the opposition might fail to get the message solidly across the world means that the sane and patriotic Zimbabwean must spread its word. The interference by a corrupt judiciary highlights the dead end that anyone opposed to ZANU-PF has reached when seeking fair arbitration in Zimbabwean courts. It also shows the challenges within the Zimbabwean political landscape where state institutions are captured. The rigged shambolic elections and the subsequent illegal and criminal recalls make the current Zimbabwean parliament illegitimate. It is a crime scene that shouldn't be sanitized. Engaging with the current parliament will be giving legitimacy to these criminal acts that I have outlined. Citizens must play a role in spreading awareness wherever they are as a collective patriotic act of demanding accountability. Institutions built on criminal acts are of significant concern that warrants attention and dialogue both domestically on the international stage. You can't let legitimate outcomes and laws from illegitimate parliament whose outcome is built on a criminal foundation. This is why ZANU-PF had posted that 2/3 majority fair by Shumba, and there was a picture of the president Emmerson Mnangagwa. That's when people went after that tweet. And so we're still, again, pursuing the fresh poll. And ZANU-PF responded, remember, the world do not take instructions from you. So whom are they taking instructions from? And Mangwiro said, what are the remaining CCC MPs hoping to achieve in the criminal parliament? Hard Talk said, in summary, ED worked with BT. And Mommy said, even Bob didn't go this far. We are doomed. If ZANU-PF wants one state party, they should just announce it and we move on. And Giza said, all thanks to BT, Woshmangwe, Shavangu, and the team. And also the secret behind success of many people is bootlicking in Zimbabwe. And Ennis said, you have captured sanctity what we now have is a parliament. In any case, ZANU-PF knew before that parliament is useless since they've never allowed ED to address it. It's now a dog's kennel with dogs wailing instead of barking. These are the consequences of stealing elections by Emmerson Mnangagwa. Quite very sad, really quite very, very sad. But in the principle for me is simple. You really cannot cut corners and expect success. We don't even need to open any book of reference. As the principle of life is, you cannot build a strong building on a wicked foundation or a corrupt foundation. It's not possible. There's no way Zimbabweans across the world would think that we will be successful as a nation. It will not work. As long as we are cutting our corners or we go way to the top, there's no success. We are still going to find ourselves in the next 10 years worse than where we are today if we don't turn to do the right thing. That's why I still preach fresh poll is the only way to free ourselves and have a better Zimbabwe. We need to champion said we need a fresh poll. Support our elders and everyone who's pursuing the SADC route where they're demanding that we have a fresh poll, since we never had any poll anyway. We saw the Shama election that happened that failed to meet all standards. So with that being said, there's definitely going to be a fresh election. Although ZANU-PF is trying to say, no, there's no fresh election, but you can see with their moves, why giving cars to all these people, expensive cars, because you know that you have lost vote from the youth. So because these people are seeing to the youth, so maybe then they can kind of having that support. I don't know if that strategy works. But by the way, now strategy that works. We have seen what happened with FARS. What an embarrassment and a shame. We have seen now this Sengezo Shamangu fiasco. What an embarrassment and a shame. Now here we are today. And by the way, guys, we must speak, let our voice be heard. We demand that we have a fresh election because we never had an election anywhere last year. And I want to tell you guys, I appreciate you so much for coming through tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow morning because we are going to pursue why Chris Muchangwa was fired. So those reasons are going to be dropped tomorrow morning. So I'll see you. With that being said, sleep tight and may God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.